without much further ado, I will now hand it over to our moderator. Thank you very much, Mr. Kutufo. Thank you.
The topic to me is very funny. That is Rome Statute Pull-Out, Controversies and Implications. What you have pulled out, you cannot put in. It's not easy. Apa yang sudah ditarik keluar, nak masuk balik, susah. Ia mesti ada foreplay balik. Baru boleh kita jalankan tugas ini. Kalau tidak, ia tidak boleh dilaksanakan begitu senang. Oleh kerana pendahuluan sudah diberi tadi, tak perlu bagi saya untuk menyebut satu persatu. Namun ada beberapa perkara yang perlu disebut. These points are as follows. If the four eminent professors didn't go around the country and pleaded with their royal highnesses to say that Rome is not to be with us, nothing would have happened. That is my first statement. The second question is, where are they now? The four musketeers, the musketeers without swords, must be known. Without them, Rome would be with us, Tuan AG. And I do accept that Rome was not built in a day, but these four fellas destroyed it within hours. So I'm here to support what we believe in, that the Statute of Rome should be part of our municipal law, after all the rigmarole of the programs to be introduced and implemented. Tan Sri Alwi Jantan, my colleague, wrote recently, and he said, the above professors did not get permission to be advisors to their royal highnesses. But Tan Sri Alwi must know they did not have permission. So they just gave advice on their own with the view to say that, ampun tuanku, jika tuanku terima Statute of Rome, maka kedaulatan tuanku akan habis. Lebih kurang begitulah ya. But this kind of advice is dangerous because we do not know what they said to the rulers. And the rulers are not saying back to us, these are the things, these are the words which the four musketeers had done or had delivered. Therefore, whilst their behavior may be termed as rather untenable, I would question their motive. And I would use a little bit of the age's nomenclature. How legal is the argument put forward to their royal highnesses? Show to us what are the ambits of Rome or the Statute of Rome that are going against sovereignty, that are going against kedaulatan, that are going against Article 181 or Article 32 or Article 38 pertaining to the Conference of Rulers. By introducing this law into our country, does it mean that our municipal law will be put into the longgang? I would say no. Therefore, these four personalities must have had something extra to tell their royal highnesses that we don't know. And I questioned them why they didn't appear in University of Malaya, why they do not come even today. Perhaps they are there, over there at Jalan Tuanku Abdul Rahman somewhere this morning, where they share the glamour and the clank of the atrocious behavior of the throwing asunder, as Shakespeare says, beyond the rope and beyond the blue. Tuan-tuan, saya bercakap ini sebagai salah seorang pengamal undang-undang sedikit demi sedikit, dan sebagai salah seorang daripada yang agak lama duduk dalam sistem. Dan rakan-rakan mesti faham bahawa dalam soal yang telah dikemukakan ini, kita mesti bertanggungjawabkan empat orang itu untuk memberi huraian. So what I would like to tell them is, wahai Profesor, tolong elucidate, tolong beri maklumat penuh tentang apa yang anda telah nasihatkan tuanku-tuanku, sultan dan raja-raja kita. Supaya hujah-hujah itu dapat kita gunakan sebagai hujah membela kembali Statute of Rome, so that this statute can become part and parcel of our future. Rakan-rakan yang dikasihi sekalian, well, we have got now 139 signatories, 60 ratifications. To them, it seems this is not a picture that is to be painted again and again. But I would say that within the 128 articles of the Rome Statute, we must believe in what we do. And the first belief that we must entertain is the fact that we have already signed the convention pertaining to something else in the past. And why don't we use this, for example, to portray the belief that the previous conventions which we have entered into are good enough then? Why are they not good enough now? So the essence of the so-called advice by the four professors, they have certain effects, and the effect is political. The effect is not legal. Legal, it remains as what we believe in, but it is politics that they are playing. I say the four professors play the game of politics, but we have to suffer the brunt of that play, which is not fair. And they are in the four institutions of higher learning. Selamatkanlah negara kita jika inilah jenis profesor yang ada. Tuan-tuan, yelah, tapi saya jangan naikkan minyak tuan-tuan lagi ya. Pelan-pelan sikit. Man-man kong galak dia tu. Saudara AJ dan kawan-kawan datuk-datuk yang dihormati sekalian, beginilah, dalam keadaan sekarang, the federal constitution, in my view, does not concern immunity of persons under international law. Our constitution governs immunity and privileges within the country. Now, having said that, our rulers no longer possess absolute immunity. The AG had referred to this, and I would just add a little bit on it. Since 1993, they can be accountable to crimes. My own ruler was accountable for certain civil matters, and then we have the Sultan of Pahang, and we have a few other instances. Therefore, the man that we should thank is Dr. Mahathir. He put this in to balance the rule of law. And to say that Malaysia has ratified treaties that constitute serious crimes before is true. The Genocide Convention, which we ratified in 1994, what does Article 4 say? It says that persons committing genocide shall be punished whether they are constitutionally responsible rulers, public officials, or private individuals. There you are. Under that, we are already subject to our rule of law here. Why are we stopping this Rome? Jadi persoalan itu mesti dijawab oleh 4 orang profesor tadi. Dan mereka tidak ada sebut ini. You know, a little knowledge is dangerous sometimes. So tuanku, our rulers, gulp everything in. Now, I'm quite used to their ways, but one thing I can tell you. When there is one side of advice given and none others are given thereafter, the first one will prevail. The original one will prevail. Therefore, after this, we must also form 4 of us. Let us go round and tell their Royal Highnesses that the former 4 are wrong and they should be buried, bukan 6 feet underground, in the air. Tuan-tuan, ini mustahak bagi kita. So, having said that, we must go a little bit further by saying the ICC can assume jurisdiction if a state is unwilling or unable to carry out investigation. The AG has said something about that. How do we formalize this? Now, atrocities for torture under the Convention Against Torture, we have not ratified. We should pursue that as one of our vigilant forceps. Number two, we should point out that our criminal law under the penal code or under the Kanun Kesiksaan, it contains some provisions which are equally atrocious in terms of initiating, in terms of the result. Therefore, there's nothing wrong for us to say now that the atrocities to be envisaged under the Rome Statute actually is much less in many instances. But the point to be said further is that the Royal Statute will complement, I believe, will complement, and it does not displace our set of laws. And the fact that we are saying at various times, the conferences that we have been having throughout the country, we have not pointed out the necessity to update our provisions and for our practice in Kuala Lumpur and elsewhere. Tuan-tuan, masa saya tinggal lagi hanya beberapa minit, oleh itu saya ingin menyatakan begini. Sekiranya yang di-Pertuan Agong khawatir bahawa baginda akan terkena dengan pengimplementasian undang-undang ini, kita harus menasihatkan tuanku bahawa baginda tidak akan terkena dengan apa-apa provisi ini sebab yang akan mengerjakan tanggungjawab pendakwaan ialah peguam negara. Dan di bawah artikel 183, jika peguam negara tak ambil pen itu untuk mendakwa, tak ada sesuatu pun akan berlaku. Now, to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, tuanku is worried, pursuant to the advice of the four, that he and brother rulers will in no time be subject to all kinds of possibilities under the law. But we have told them, and we have told the country, that in 1993, 1994, yours faithfully was at that time in the opposition, Semangat 46. We were telling the system that if anyone commits crime, that anyone must face the music. But the translation of Article 183 and 182 is a happy thing to us. But for the Tuanku to say that they will be subject to the same law, it is not so easy. And if you look at Article 41, where the Agong is the supreme commander, he is in a safer position to do things beyond what we would expect normally. Therefore, whilst we cannot go into the rigmarole of the details, a little bit of extra facts I think will not hurt us, and that is the word genocide, the word acts against humanity or offenses against humanity, or the offense pertaining to the other two ambit, they are not to be easily committed in this country because of the possibility of the environment. We have the generals, we have the police, and we have the system of separation of power. It is not so simple for each ruler to be yanked in and then be questioned and locked up or be taken into consideration for further ado. Therefore, we have to settle the score by saying that while the UN Convention on Genocide in 1948 is clear, that law is already with us, why do we fear? Why didn't we say at that time the same argument, before we ratified this Convention on Genocide? We should have said this at that time. But the same wording is imported into the main provisions of this law. And we are not saying anything at that time, but now we are saying something against it now. Jadi boleh saya rumus beginilah. Dulunya manis, sekarangnya masam. And for that, I tell you there is a pantun to go along with it. And that is, telur itik dari kedai, telur angsa dari siam. Orang politik macam gulai, ada masa kurang asam. Saya ingin mencadangkan supaya Bar Council, Majlis Peguam, jangan berhenti di forum ini saja. Bawalah 19,000 ahli kita ini. Buat ceramahnya di pekan-pekan. Di luar bandar, menyatakan undang-undang Rome ini tidak menyentuh hak kedaulatan raja-raja. Pertama, dan hujah-hujah itu kita boleh elucidate dengan perkara-perkara yang sudah pun kita sebut berdua tadi. Yang kedua, wahai profesor-profesor yang cerdik-cerdik, gunakan kecerdikan itu untuk membina negara, tidak untuk menakut-nakutkan rulers ataupun raja-raja kita. Dan sekiranya mereka sudah pun memberi alasan, if they have given all the reasons and the score to the rulers, let it be known now, what did you say to them? And if you do not come clean out, we are going to say, you are not honest professors, you are not honest peguam or lawyers. Are they registered already? I don't know, that'll be our job. Number 3, the institutions of higher learning must understand that the inculcation of rule of law must be within the ambit of reality, not within the ambit of supposed situations. Therefore, from Yang di-Pertuan Agong right down to the sultans, they too must understand the world has changed. Therefore, the value system must be imbued properly for their sake and for the future of Malaysia. Right now, on the other side of town, thousands of people, I think, are doing their roles in refurbishing the other side of the argument. And they, mind you, are not legal. These are the political salvos. And let not the Bar Council be diminished in its zeal, in its enthusiasm to go forward and establish. Well, like what Shakespeare says, once more onto the breach, my friends, once more. Let the eyes and the lips be sinewed to achieve what is new and of old. Wassalamualaikum. Terima kasih.